Hey folks, happy Thursday, day 4 in our pastor's devotional this week, following the October prayer calendar. And by the way, we are developing the November prayer calendar right now. It's getting ready to hit the press. It will be out. You can get it online, fumccv.org. You can get it through the daily email, which you can also sign up for on the website. If you're on our mailing list, like literally the mail, physical mail, you'll get it in the mail towards the end of October. So we're halfway through October. Can you believe that? October 15th. My gosh. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So it has been 7 months that we've been closed in this pandemic. And I've sort of joked about this before. When we first closed, I thought, all right, what might be helpful to people? And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a daily devotion, a little daily video devotion, and it'll just help folks to stay connected, maybe. And it'll give, everyone sort of hunkered down in their homes and not supposed to go out and relate to others. So it'll just be a little checkpoint. I never thought that I'd be doing this every day for 7 months, but here we are, and I appreciate that some of you have found this to be helpful, and quite honestly, it's been helpful to me because it has worked to keep me accountable to daily devotionals. Even though I don't tape one every day, it has helped to ground me each day as well. So we have talked often about what of the church will be different when the pandemic is over. What things that we did during the pandemic will we continue doing, like maybe some of the virtual music that we do that's really creative and involves lots of people, or certainly live streaming our worship services so you can watch it from home or wherever you are. I suspect that these daily devotionals might be another one of those things that hangs on past the pandemic if we can get there. So here we are. Today, this week, we're thinking about the church as the training ground for imitation and invitation. And today, the sub-theme is to listen. And we begin in the book of 1 Samuel. So Old Testament, maybe 250 pages in or so, you'll find 1 Samuel. We're going to go to chapter 3, verse 10. 1 Samuel 3, verse 10. All right, are you there? Now the Lord came there, calling as before, Samuel, Samuel. And Samuel said, speak, for your servant is listening. Sometime today, you should just go back to this. So the prayer team just has us read one verse of these different stories, but read the rest of chapter 3. So chapter 3, verse 10 and through the end. It's a wonderful story. And actually all of chapter 3, it's a wonderful story of Samuel, this young servant of God who begins to hear the voice of God. And at first he thinks it's Eli, this older, his teacher. And then they discover together that it's not Eli, this is God calling you. Really hard concept is listening for God, hearing God. But in this passage, we have a sample of Samuel whose ear gets particularly tuned to be able to hear the voice of God. We'll talk about how that might work for us. All right, next passage, Luke chapter 2, so Gospel of Luke. Back into your New Testament. Gospel of Luke chapter 2, verse 46. Luke 2, 46. This is a story of when Jesus was a boy. After 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. That was Jesus, sitting in the temple as, I don't know, maybe 7 years old, something like that, listening to the teachers, asking them questions. And the final is Gospel of John, chapter 18. John 18:37. Pilate asked Jesus, "So who are you, a king?" Jesus answered, "For you say that I am a king. For this I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice." All right, so listening to God. How do you listen to God? How do you listen to God? I've never been one of those people who hear sort of a booming voice out of the heavens. That's not the way that I have been able to hear God in life. I most often hear God through other people. So like Jesus was sitting in the temple listening to teachers. I remember when I was discerning my call to ministry. I was a college student and had this wonderful pastor, Doug Kane, who actually just passed this year. And Doug began to, I was going to church at the church that he was a pastor. And I helped out with a youth group a little bit and eventually became the youth pastor during my college time. And he just began sort of suggesting and asking whether I was feeling called to ministry. He began pointing out different characteristics and attributes, different gifts that I have. And then other people in the church began doing that. And I think what Doug did was he went to those other leaders and encouraged them to have those conversations with me. So my call to ministry was not a voice from the heavens. My call to ministry was 30 people within a local church who all became very encouraging of me and helping me to identify what my gifts were, and then helping me to consider how I might best use those gifts. There's no doubt in my mind that was God working through those people and God working through Reverend Kane. But that's the way that I heard the voice of God in my call to ministry. And sometimes the voice is, it's just something that it's like intuitive. Sometimes it's something that comes from, it's like a feeling in your gut. Sometimes it is someone else says something, right? And they may not even, they may not be intending to even for their words to be a teaching moment, but they say something, and just the way they said it, or the time they said it, or the place they said it, you're just sure that it was God speaking through those people. I've heard it through my pastors, through my preachers, through my Bible study leaders. I've heard it through church members who I was visiting while they were in the hospital, in all kinds of ways. God speaks to us, and God uses all kinds of avenues to do that. A piece of music, right? A quiet moment in the mountains, a warm afternoon on the beach, all kinds of ways. So today, do everything you can to open your ears so that you might have every opportunity possible to hear the voice of God. God bless.